Every year on this day, on World Health Day, they have a theme. And the theme, of course, is something to do with health, naturally. But this year's theme is very, very interesting. It echoes a book that I wrote 18 years ago at a time when I was so far ahead of my time, most people just really didn't care that much. Today, it's top of the news. So we were a little bit early with a book called How to Survive on a Toxic Planet. Well, that's kind of the theme of World Health Day for this year. So tonight's presentation is both a celebration of World Health Day and preparation for World Health Day. Now, what do I mean? All of you are going to have the opportunity tomorrow on World Health Day to talk to new people and say, hey, did you know this was World Health Day? Did you know that these are the top trends in health? And did you know these facts? And would you like to watch a video that I can get you to in a split second? Well, that's all what we're going to be doing this evening. And this is in preparation for you for World Health Day tomorrow. Here's some facts from the World Health Organization about this year's celebration. They say that pollution has gotten so much worse over the years that now there are about 13 million people whose deaths are caused by avoidable environmental causes. Now, there's a long list of reasons why that happens and what people can do to help themselves with that. But the point here is, it's all about the environment this year. And I think that this is very important for us. When I wrote my book 18 years ago, I had in my book segments of the book that talked about various pockets of places where the air was really unhealthy to breathe. But things have gotten progressively worse over the 18 years. And now, according to World Health, more than 90% of all the people on planet Earth are breathing unhealthy air. Now, you might say, well, you know, my country's trying to do something about it. And I think that's very good. We should all be trying to do something about it. But the fact is, there are countries that aren't trying to do anything about it, and they make more pollution probably than your country does, definitely more than my country does. So we all need to do the right thing, and we all need to promote the healthiest possible environment, but you need to understand the fact. This is realistic fact that no matter how hard you work, there's always going to be those countries who simply aren't on board. So the air isn't as clean as we need it to be. Our water is not as clean as we need it to be. And in fact, our food is not as healthy as it used to be. World Health Organization is talking about the fact that our foods are processed, highly processed, and unhealthy, and that this is contributing to a wide list of health issues. I'm not going to spend more time on that. Let me say this to you. The first thing that you want to think about in terms of air pollution would be oxidative stress. And what would you want to do then? If you wanted to try and support your body in an environment that has unhealthy air, well, you will get the best antioxidant that money can buy. Where do you find that? You find it at Mannatech. Now, that's a pretty big statement, isn't it? It is a big statement. But I'm telling you this right now, my friends. According to human serum ORAC study, the product you're looking at on the screen right now is the best antioxidant on planet Earth. That's a good place to start tonight, a really good place to start. Now, again, that's according to human serum ORAC studies. That's a particular type of blood study, which really is the gold standard of blood study for antioxidants and their ability to help your body combat pollution, toxins, and stress that also causes oxidative stress. So that's a good start. Now, you'll notice on your screen, there is a QR code, and that's a theme throughout tonight's presentation. I'm going to cover so many areas, there's no way I could do a detailed presentation on every product. So you will have QR codes where it's important, and all you have to do is use that code and it will take you directly to my presentations on those products for more detail. That is so cool. All right, well, let's talk about the trends a little bit. These trends are really different in many respects than what people expected. In fact, different than what I expected. These are the trends that are driving consumers to buy certain products. These are the trends that will be driving the nutritional industry, not just this year, but throughout this entire decade. And I will talk to you tonight about the highest areas of growth in those various categories. You may be surprised with some of the information you hear tonight. I know I was when I started doing the research. I was actually very surprised by some of the trends. Well, as the old saying goes, let's begin at the beginning. Recently, I did a presentation called The Evidence for Lifelong Supplementation. I would like everyone to watch that presentation. If you haven't seen it already, even if you have seen it, you should watch it again, because it's amazing how much you can learn the second time, the third time even, and sometimes even more when you watch presentations again and again. Your brain will give you new information up to the front. You begin aging at the moment of conception. I know we don't think of it that way normally, but that's the scientific reality. And by the time you're 28 years of age, on average, you have reached your peak of cellular health. Now, you may not want to see it that way, but science is science, my friends. Now, by the time you get to the age of 40-ish, it could be 39, it could be 42, it could be 45, but it's an average around 40. That's when people begin to feel the cellular decline. Generally, you don't really feel the cellular decline between 28 and 40 because it's very gradual, but it is happening, which is why if you're smart and you're 28, you should start taking the right supplements today. Don't wait until you're 40, start now. And unfortunately, too many people do wait too long. Very frustrating for me. Well, that presentation you can get to quickly by using the QR code at the bottom of your screen. Well, let's talk about diet briefly. You know, we are designed to get our nutrition from food, and that's the way it should be ideally. But we're also not designed to live on a toxic planet. As some of you may remember from my book, those of you who read it, those of you who haven't, I'll give you some information from it. There are scientists who did work at the US Environmental Protection Agency. Remember, I wrote the book 18 years ago. But these individuals, they say that there may be as many as 100,000 synthetic chemicals in our environment today, in our air, in our water. We know from scientific study that the air inside of your home is at least 10 times worse than the air outside. And the air outside, according to World Health Organization, is not good. So the answer for that, for your body, is antioxidant. And a study was done by the US Department of Agriculture back in 1995. And this was based on a person's needs in 1995. So the air pollution in 1995, and understand it keeps getting worse. They did a human blood study. It was a huge study, lots of people. And they found that almost no one was getting enough antioxidant into their blood every day from fruits and vegetables as we are designed to. Now, if we were living on a pristine planet, I'm sure we'd all be getting plenty of what we need from our regular diet. But conditions are different now. Things have changed. So they said in 1995, we recommend that everyone eats between 5 and 7 servings of fresh, not canned, not frozen, fresh fruits and vegetables every day. They repeated the test every couple of years, and by the year 2012, well, it just got to the point where it was, what's the point of doing the test anymore? It gets worse every year. Nobody's going to eat this many servings of fruits and vegetables. It's just not going to happen. So dietary supplements are the intelligent choice for the well-informed person. And here's just a little stat on the side for you. For those of you who are parents, a teenage boy requires the most antioxidant support on average, and that would be 9 servings per day. For those of you who are parents, can you get your teenage boy to consume 9 servings a day of fresh fruits and vegetables? I don't think so. It's just not realistic. This is a time for dietary supplements. What about vitamins? Well, we're supposed to get our vitamins from diet as well. A human blood study that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, where doctors tested for vitamin. That's all they tested for, just vitamin. And the previous study I talked about was just antioxidant, nothing else. Now, in this study, they said that most people do not consume an optimal level of vitamin by diet alone, and it appears prudent for all adults to take vitamin supplements. Things are different now, folks. Things have changed. Now, 76%, roughly, of Americans take dietary supplements, and yet 90% of Americans are deficient in at least one nutrient, and more than 70% are deficient in a list of nutrients. Now, some of you from other countries are saying, but you're only giving American statistics. Well, I can't in this presentation give you stats from every country. We're in 32 countries now. I just can't do it. And the United States is unique in that it represents every single genetic group on planet Earth that can be found is found in the United States. So I think these statistics should be valid for anyone, no matter what country you're living in. So vitamins and minerals are essential. They're vital for a long list of health support areas, whether it's your brain, your heart, your glandular function, your various organs that a couple will be talking about this evening, digestion, how you feel about yourself, your sense of well-being, your mood, the list goes on. You can't even make digestive enzymes without certain vitamins. So with this in mind, folks, vitamins and minerals are key platform support, foundational support for your dietary program. All right, let's talk about the 5 trends. Well, I know what you're thinking. Immune support, right? It's got to be the #1 trend. It must be. Well, let's take a look at immune support. You know, with the events over the last few years, people buying immune products like crazy, and you say, wow, definitely #1. Let's take a look at the numbers. In 2021, about $20 billion was spent on immune support products. That's a lot of money. $1 billion, that's 1,000 times 1 million. Can you imagine how many containers of dietary supplements that would be? If you could stack all those containers somewhere, it's mind-boggling, $20 billion. And the experts tell us that they expect a consistent compound annual growth rate of 6.6%, resulting by the year 2028 in $31.5 billion annually of immune system sales, of immune system products. Think about this, folks. It is a mind-boggling amount of money. That's the trend in immune support now and pretty much through the end of this decade. So clearly, immune support #1, right? What if I told you it's not #1? What if I told you there's another category that maybe you haven't thought about that's actually trending much, much larger than immune support? Immune support is actually #2. #1 is digestive system support. Wow. Wait till I show you some information on this that really will just amaze you and surprise you. But let me run quickly through our top 5 that we'll be talking about this evening. Well, number 3 is eye health, and I'll give you the reasons for that. Number 4 is brain health, but not the traditional that you might think about. Yes, cognitive support is always there, and that is increasing. And memory support, the need for that is also increasing. But mood is now becoming a powerful trend as it relates to brain health. I'll cover that later in tonight's presentation. And sleep products and calmative products. People are having so much trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep, and people are having so much trouble relaxing, calming their stresses, and calming their worries. We'll talk more about that as we proceed. Now, on the bottom of your screen, I mentioned here, women's health and weight loss are not trends, in my opinion, because they're always consistent in the marketplace, women's health and weight loss. So not trends. And tonight, we're talking about trends, okay? So digestive health, the number 1 trend. Let's talk about that first. When immune system products were selling at about 21 billion, digestive health products were selling at almost 38 billion. Now, why am I using the dollars? Because these US dollars are telling us what people were buying. What problems were they trying to answer? What were they looking for solution-wise? Now, when you can put yourself about $17 billion ahead of number 2, you are a clear winner in first place. There's no question. Now, according to the experts, they expect a compound annual growth rate of 7.9% to be consistent through the year 2027, at which point they predict annual sales in digestive health products at almost $72 billion. That's billion with a B. We're talking big money. In fact, that's just about double the amount of money being spent on immune support products right now. Even considering the events of the last few years, digestive health has been a clear leader in this area and is projected to continue to be a clear area in this category. Now, with this in mind, if you've been talking to people about immune health only, if you've not been talking to people about digestive health, you are missing the biggest trend in our industry right now. And the trend exists because people need it. People want it. They're looking for the solution. And guess where the best place is to find that solution? It's Mannatech. And I will show you why as we proceed. So what's driving this demand? Globally, adults, 62% of all adults on planet Earth have digestive health complaints. That is a clear majority. Now, it differs from one country to another. As an example, in the US, it's about 76%. And that's because diet differs, water quality differs, stresses differ, and so on. But when the entire planet is over 62%, you have a clear winner for this category, digestive health. Now, this is also important for all of you, especially for those of you who are wanting to have a successful nutrition business of your own. The persons who buy the most dietary supplements are women. This is planet-wide. And women suffer almost twice as many digestive complaints as men. Women are the demographic. This is where you need to be looking at. Now, I want you to help men too. I want you to help everybody. But you need to understand that women have almost twice as many problems with digestive health as men do. What about the gut-brain connection? I know you've heard about it. Those of you who watch my talks, you've seen me talk about it for sure. And this is super important, this connection. I read a study recently, and there's more than one study on this, by the way. This is just one that I recently read, where genetic scientists were making the connection between the genes inside of those tiny little probiotic bacterium and brain function. In fact, they made the connection between a happy gut and a happy brain. So those probiotic bacteria are actually genetically programmed to interact with brain cells. This is so important. Now, one of the chemicals that your brain needs to be relaxed, to calm your worries, to promote healthy sleep, this is something called GABA, and that is gamma amino butyric acid. That's why everyone says GABA for short. GABA is used by the brain, but it's made in your gut. And it's made by interaction between probiotic bacteria and something called butyrate or butyric acid. Butyric acid is also extremely important for leaky gut, to help support your health if you have leaky gut. We'll talk more about that in a few moments. 95% of all the serotonin in your entire body is made in your digestive tract. So there's two super key chemicals for brain function that are made in your gut. Clearly, there's a strong gut-brain connection. Now, we have made something called the GI biome system. And you see a QR code right there at the top of your screen. The GI biome system is 3 products designed to accomplish a number of different goals. You can see the details by using the QR code and watching the presentation that I've done on that. So we're talking about supporting the immune system. Now, this is primarily through GI Pro Balance. That is our probiotic product. And when I formulated our very first GI Pro product years ago, it was what is today called a synbiotic. That word didn't exist then, but it is today called a synbiotic. That means it is a combination of probiotic and prebiotic in the same formulation. This is very important, not just to have viable units, what are called colony forming units or CFUs. That's another way of saying probiotic bacteria. But it's also important for keeping them viable for a long period of time. A prebiotic is the food that a probiotic eats to be healthy and multiply. So we have immune support in GI Pro Balance as well as gut support. I've already talked a little bit about the gut-brain connection. There's a lot more. You'll see it on the videos, which are connected through the QR codes. And this can include a discussion of mood and feeling calm. Remember, GABA, gamma amino butyric acid, is the most important brain chemical to help you feel calm. And it's made in the gut through an interaction between butyrate and various probiotic. Very important stuff. So prebiotics and probiotics support the immune system. And 70% of the immune system originates in the gut. Again, you've got QR codes on this slide. You'll see that on one side of your screen says, focus on the microbiome. That's one presentation. And then over on the other side of the screen, you see product focus for GI Pro Balance. 2 separate presentations, and they have been reduced so that they're focused in those areas to make it easy for you and for the person that you're introducing these products to. Now you'll see we've got some products here that are prebiotic. That would be Mannatech and our Ambertose technologies. I say Ambertose technologies because every Ambertose every Ambertose formula is part of that technology group, if you will. Mannatech is very important as a prebiotic. It has other important functions. Ambertose has other important functions. We'll talk about those functions in a few moments. But remember, GI ProBalance. At time of formulation, 50 billion CFUs. And because it's a prebiotic, with the right prebiotics in every sachet, by the way, it tastes great. People love the way it tastes. It's convenient. There's no reason not to use it. And a lot of reasons to use it every day, obviously. And even at time of expiration, there's still going to be around 15 billion, that's 15 billion CFUs still viable, starting with 50 billion, ending with 15 billion at time of expiration. That's an approximate number. What about GI Zyme? A lot of people ignore this product and they think, well, isn't a probiotic and an enzyme the same? No, definitely, positively not the same. Now, if you want to know more detail about this, obviously, use the QR code at the top of the screen, and it will take you directly to my video on GI Zyme. But let me talk very briefly about it. Everyone's heard the expression, you are what you eat. Well, I'm sorry, that's simply not true. You are what you digest. Just putting food in your mouth and having it pass through your body doesn't mean you got the nutrition through it. You have to digest your food. This means enzymes. Now, there are other factors as well, but enzymes are key. This product follows the original formulation that I made for GI Zyme years ago, where the original GI Zyme had enzymes for every food group that human beings would eat, every food group. This new product, GI Zyme, vastly improved. It's almost twice as powerful as my original formula, and it's in a blister pack. Now, I love this, and I'll tell you why I love it. Under normal conditions here on planet Earth, people like to go out to eat, right? You may go to a friend's house to eat, or you go to restaurants. You do this when you're going out to lunch from your office, or just in the evening to enjoy social interaction with friends and family. But when you go out to eat, you don't want to have to take a bottle of GI Zyme with you everywhere. And that was the original formula. In the blister pack, it's so easy. And you'll see that you see the perforations, you can see them on the screen. You can tear off just a couple of these to take with you. Or you can take a whole card of 6 with you if you wish, because there might be that friend or family member that you know has digestive issues. So when you sit down at the restaurant, before you order your food, talk to them a little bit about GI Zyme and say, let me offer you one of these. Now you can do this in a sanitary way because it's in a blister pack. Let me offer you a GI Zyme. And then when you eat your food tonight, I think you'll feel a difference. It's a wonderful way to introduce a powerful digestive enzyme product to a new person. And of course, to have it yourself whenever you need it. And I'm going to sort of paraphrase from a famous advertisement. I won't leave home without these. Okay. I always have them with me. You're going to find they do make a difference for you. So all the food groups, even dairy is included in here. There's digestive enzyme for dairy products in here. And there's even a digestive enzyme called alpha-galactosidase, which is there to help you with that gas and bloating that may occur when you've consumed beans, legumes, Brussels sprouts, okay? So just keep that in mind as well. Remember, you're not what you eat, you are what you digest. That's the difference. And GI Defense, our newest product in this line. Now, this is a product I've been wanting to bring to Mannatech and the world for a very long time. because the science and the investigations into something called leaky gut is continuing to grow. It's getting bigger all the time. Some scientists believe, and I want to emphasize this, the science on this is fairly early. So many scientists believe that as many as 90% of all of our health conditions may be linked to leaky gut. Now, as the science progresses, we may find that number differs, but that's what many scientists are telling us today. Leaky gut may sound complicated, and you can make it as complicated as you want to, but my purpose tonight is to give you simple, easy answers and simple, easy information. The picture that you see right now pretty much explains leaky gut. Your intestinal wall is designed to allow nutrients to pass through your gut into your blood. It's not supposed to allow toxins to do that. And for people that have leaky gut, those perforations, if you will, that permeable wall may become too permeable and allow things to pass through that shouldn't. Now, if you want to learn more detail on this, please use the QR code at the top of your screen and watch my video on GI defense. What about your liver? Let's not forget about your liver. Some of you have heard me say repeatedly, you need to love your liver. Well, you do. You need to love it. And I'm going to give you just a tiny bit of why you do. In order to digest fat, you need something called bile acid. The bile acid is produced in your liver. Now, the liver performs more than 100 vital functions for your health. It's not just a detox organ. We're talking about functions for hormone conjugation. We're talking about functions around supporting healthy cholesterol levels, and the list goes on. But here we're talking about digestion. If your liver isn't secreting the bile acids properly and in the proper levels, then you can't interact with an enzyme called lipase. Lipase is the enzyme that digests fat. So the bile acid and the lipase need to work together to break down fat and digest that for you properly. You can learn more by using the QR code at the top of your screen on my video for liver support. What about catalyst? Now, some of you say, oh yeah, well, that's just vitamin, right? Well, it's a lot more than that. It's Mannatech's most powerful vitamin mineral product, and all functions of the body, I repeat, all functions of the body require either vitamins or minerals or both, and certain key vitamins for certain functions, certain key minerals for certain functions. So again, the foundation of your health program should be a potent, broad spectrum vitamin mineral product that we know works. And that is Catalyst. That is my number one recommendation in that area. We'll come back to this a little bit more, but my product focus on Catalyst, of course, was on that slide, and all you had to do is just use your phone and you're right there. All right, let's go to trend number two. Trend number two, the immune system, immune health support. I already talked a little bit about the numbers, but here's some different numbers. Right now, we've got around approximately 160 million adults who are looking right now for an immune health answer. Now, folks, that's more people than you'll ever be able to talk to in your entire lifetime. So this is a huge market, not to be ignored. Not as big as digestive health, obviously, but definitely important. And Mannatech has been the immune support company for more than 27 years. When we introduced our first glycan product back in 1995, which was called Mannalo, and that, by the way, was Mannapol in a capsule. When we introduced that product, we started down the immune support line, and we have grown and grown in that area with the finest immune support products that you're going to find anywhere on planet Earth. How do I know this? I know this by science, not from marketing, not from stories, but science. And we're going to talk a little bit about each of those as we proceed. But where I want you to start is a product called ImmunoStart. Gosh, strange how it's got that name, huh? In fact, every time someone comes to me and they talk to me about some immune challenge they have, they usually say, how much Amberto should I take? And I usually say, how much ImmunoStart do you take? And typically they'll respond by saying, ImmunoStart? ImmunoStart? Why would I take that? Well, maybe because it's called ImmunoStart. And it's where I want you to start to support your immune system when you have an immune system challenge. We're going to go through all these products, but we're going to start with ImmunoStart. So ImmunoStart is so unique. We've got people who sort of, oh, well, it's just a colostrum product. No, it is not just a colostrum product. This product, my friends, is so unique. It has earned 7 patents. 7. I'm always saying, whenever I have a competitor that says, oh, we're just as good as Mannatech, I always say, that's not a problem for me. Just prove it to me. Show me the science. Of course, they never do. And we have a ton of science to back up what we say at Mannatech. Now, if you want to learn about the power of patents, that's a different presentation, but you can go right to it using the QR code at the top of your screen. Now, why is ImmunoStart unique? Well, it has to do with something called immunoglobulins. Now, don't panic. I'm not going to get all sciencey and technical on you. We're going to keep this simple. I want you to look in the center of those 5 immunoglobulins. What's an immunoglobulin anyway? It's an antibody, okay? We're going to talk a little bit more about this in a moment. Clearly, the most important of the immunoglobulins, beyond any question, is something called IgG, immunoglobulin G. This is found in ImmunoStart. And ImmunoStart promotes the production of IgG. Now, I'm showing you that little chart that you're looking at right now to let you know how much more important IgG is than the other IGs. They're all important. They all have special functions, but IgG is number 1 without any question. So IgG antibodies, what the heck are they? Well, the IgG antibodies are found in all of the fluids of your body, all of them, from your tears to, well, name a fluid, any fluid. 75 to 80% of all of the antibodies in the human body are IgG. Why? Because they have the broadest spectrum of response against immune challenge. No other Ig can match them. And they are, because of that, the general immune support with IgGs, regardless of the category we're looking at, is huge. And very often when I'm doing presentations, people will come up to me and they'll say, wow, this sounds so powerful. I'm almost afraid of it. Is it safe? Why in the world would I promote a product that wasn't safe? And why would Mannatech sell a product that wasn't safe? But let me give you something to rest your mind just in case you're one of those folks. IgG antibodies are so safe that they are the only antibodies that can cross the placental barrier in a pregnant woman to support the immune system of that precious little fetus. That's right. From the time you're conceived, you need IgG. And yes, it's about as safe can get. If you want to learn more detail about ImmunoStart, you can use the QR code and watch my video on ImmunoStart. But what about beta-glucans? You'll see that on the label. In different countries, by the way, it's labeled different ways, but it's the same thing. Beta 1316 glucans. So you may have heard about beta glucans before, and you say, well, okay, beta glucans are in some foods, right? Yeah, they are. But there are different types of beta glucans. Now, we are using one exclusive form. We're using 1316 beta glucans, which are derived from the cell wall of baker's yeast. Now, I know there's a few of you right now that say, oh my gosh, yeast. Well, I'm supposed to stay away from that. Everyone listen carefully. There's no yeast in the product, okay? Listen to what I said. It's derived from the cell walls of the baker's yeast. There's no yeast in the product. You don't have to worry about it, all right? It's not something to think about at all. So the 1316, we want to use this because it's more highly branched than other beta glucans, and it's more extensively studied scientifically than other beta glucans. But there are some companies where they sell beta glucan as their only product, their only ingredient for immune support. And this is a sort of icing on the cake ingredient in Immunostar. Think about that. Now, is that a benefit? What a bargain that one is. I want you to start, understand the name, Immunostar. I want you to start supporting your immune response as soon as you're chewing this product. It says on the label to chew tablet thoroughly. And I want you to do that. You make sure you chew that tablet thoroughly and slowly. And I want you to savor that flavor. As you chew it slowly, you can help to maximize the benefits of our exclusive 1316 beta glucans in Immunostar. Now, what about citrus pectin? You'll see that on the label as well. Well, these are plant-sourced polysaccharides, and the pectins are prebiotic fiber that can be broken down into smaller saccharide units, which are beneficial to digestive system health. Mannaboom, great name. I love the name of this product. So Mannaboom is our immune support product for immune support on the go. It's convenient, tastes great. By the way, Immunostar tastes pretty darn good too. But this product tastes great. It's citrus flavored, and we recently improved the product as well. It now has 150% more vitamin C and more mannitol and zinc, and more glyconutrients have been added as well. Now, I want you to understand, vitamin C has to interact with, guess what? IgG in order to perform its functions. Vitamin C doesn't just magically help your immune system all by itself. It has to interact with IgG. So again, you start with Immunostar, okay? But when you're on the go, instead of taking that big bottle of Immunostar with you everywhere you go, you take a couple of these convenient sachets of Mannaboom with you. They taste great, and you just rip open the sachet, put it right in your mouth, and enjoy this boom to your immune system. It's really a great product for immune system support on the go. Now, of course, most people who are Mannatech associates or who've been with Mannatech at least since 1996 are very focused on the idea that glycans support the immune system, and they definitely, positively do. We know this from human scientific study. But understand, Immunostar is our dedicated immune support product. Mannaboom is also a dedicated immune support product with a slightly different purpose, as we've just discussed. Glycans have a variety of functions. And when I'm talking to you about glycans, that's a scientific name. Many people are still using the commercial name, which, by the way, was invented by Mannatech, glyconutrients. That's a commercial term, but the scientific term is glycan. On your cell surface, and you're looking at an artist's rendition of a cell, on your cell surface, you have these things called immune receptor sites, just receptor sites. But these receptor sites are a place for your glycoproteins to dock, if you will, or attach themselves. So what you're looking at in this picture, you see these little sort of spiraling coils that are coming up out of your cell. And on the ends of these coils are these little beads. And by the way, they're not actually green. This is just for art, right? For you to understand and see this quickly. So these are glycoproteins. A glycoprotein is a combination of a glycan and a protein which have bonded together. There are 8 glycans that have to bond with a corresponding protein to make that glycoprotein so that you can send signals out from the receptor site and receive them to the receptor site. In fact, these receptor sites are not really receptors, they're transceivers. They do both. It is through cellular communication that the Ambertose technologies and Mannatech support the immune system. So both of these products, the Ambertose technologies and Mannatech, are not designed to be immune specific. They're designed to do a wide variety of functions, which we have documented that they do scientifically through their complexes. So we know, as an example, with cellular communication through Ambertose, we support brain function. We do support digestive function, this as a prebiotic. We obviously support the immune system, and all manner of functions in the body, of course, require cellular communication. Mannatech is a little bit different than the 2 Ambertose products, but we'll talk a little bit more about that as we proceed. If you want to learn more about Ambertose, use the QR code for Ambertose and cellular communication. It'll take you to a very short, very simple way that I explain cellular communication that virtually everyone can understand, regardless of their educational level. If you want to learn more about Mannatech, not so much Mannatech's function, but how it's made, why it's important, where it comes from, how we help the environment in the process, I want you to use that QR code to watch a tremendous video called The Quest for Mannatech. So the Ambertose technologies support the immune system, but they support many functions of the body through cellular communication. Mannatech is what I call the big guns for immune modulation. And what does that mean, immune modulation? Well, some people think of the immune system as being either too high or too low. What you want the immune system to be is normal. The goal should always be normal, healthy immune function. So an immune system that's too high, you would want it to modulate down to normal. An immune system that's too low, you would want it to modulate up to normal. The idea is normal. That's where you want to be. And that's why immune modulation, in my opinion, is far superior to immune stimulation. There's a whole lot of reasons. You don't want to stimulate the immune system, but rather you want to modulate the immune system. Again, you have QR codes that can take you there and you can learn more. Well, look at this. We're back at Catalyst. Why? Because there are certain vitamins and certain minerals which are necessary not just for immune function and a host of other functions, but are also necessary for cellular communication, are necessary to support the function of Ambertose. So it's very, very important that you are taking your vitamins and minerals. Now, Catalyst is a combination of natural, plant-based nutrients and scientifically supported ingredients. But folks, part of my job as Mannatech's Chief Science Officer is to make sure that we are staying on top of things. Not that we're using information that's 10 years old, 20 years old, 50 years old, but that we're staying on top of things, that we are leading the charge, that we are ahead of everyone else in our industry. Now, one of the things that we know is that there are certain mineral chelates that are actually absorbed and utilized better than natural plant source nutrients. I know it shocks you, but that's the truth. That's the science. Not only are they safe, they function more effectively. Based on that science, I have chosen those mineral chelates and insisted that we continue to use those mineral chelates in our formulations. If you want to learn more about mineral chelates, why they're safe, why they're effective, why we chose them, then use the QR code on your screen. Let's talk now about eye health. Eye health is pretty big. This is a trend that's getting bigger and bigger because the use of devices that are potentially bad for our eyes is getting bigger and bigger. Now, you're going to have some experts who will argue, and I imagine that some of these experts may work for companies that make mobile devices, I suspect. I don't know. But you're going to have experts who tell you, well, no, blue light's not a big deal. And then you'll have experts who tell you blue light's a very big deal. Well, when it comes to the health of your eyes, I don't want you to take any chances. I want you to do the right thing for your eyes every day. Something that I recommend to people on a daily basis. Often I'm frustrated, but I recommend anyway. Minimize your blue screen time, please. Most people won't do it, but I'll probably say it again. It's very important for you. Blue light has the potential to have a harmful effect to your eyes, and all of the digital devices we use today, whether it's a mobile phone or a tablet or a computer, a laptop, a big screen computer, whatever it is, they're all using the same blue light digital technology. Now, the use of mobile phones, cell phones, as we say in the US, the use of these has increased dramatically. And you can see some stats on your screen right now. In 2016, about 49% of people globally were using mobile phones. And now almost 84% are using mobile phones in that very short span of time. People are becoming thoroughly dependent on these blue light digital devices, and it is not going to go away. And it doesn't matter how big the screen is. I get people all the time saying, well, it's surely more harmful to me to look at a computer screen that's 27 inches versus my smartphone. No, it's no different. It's the same technology exactly and has the same potential exactly. There are also the issues, other issues with mobile devices and radiation, so on, that we won't cover today. But folks, I really hope that you'll try and minimize your blue screen time. I am astounded to learn that 71% of all the people on planet Earth who own mobile phones take them to bed with them. Folks, you have to draw a line. At some point, you have to say, I need to stop this behavior. Yes, use the phone when it's necessary. But you know what? You don't have to stay awake all night. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. You don't have to stay awake all night with your blue light device to find out if somebody has liked your posts on social media. Folks, stop it. Think of your health. Think of your eyes. And we're going to talk about sleep in a moment. And you'll see how important that is. Don't take your cell phones to bed with you, please. At some point, shut them off. Try interacting with other human beings. Interact with your loved ones, your family, your spouse. Interact with humans. Put those darn things down for a little while, please. I know that most of you still won't do it. I can beg and plead, and I'm still going to beg and plead for you anyway, because I want you to protect yourselves, friends. It's really, really important. So what can you do? Well, the first thing you do is try and minimize your blue screen time, okay? You don't need to take it to bed with you, please. And make sure you take the nutrients that your eyes require every day. Now, this is important stuff. We've made this fantastic product called Eye Support. iSupport has all the vital ingredients for eye health, the things that you really need to support the health of your eyes in so many ways, particularly the retina of your eye and the macula of your eye. Very, very important stuff. In addition to that, I strongly recommend omega-3, and especially our omega-3 with vitamin D, not just because its purity profile is just beyond comparison. And purity is the key with omega-3. Don't fall for any other sales pitch. Purity is the key. You should find one of the two omega-3s, DHA, so the two omega-3s, EPA and DHA, that's what humans need. DHA, the majority of DHA in the human body should be found in your brain and in your eye, in the retina of your eye. Most people that have been blood tested for omega-3 don't seem to have enough of it. Now, I'd like to see some really good, solid scientific studies on huge populations so I could give you some good numbers on this. I haven't seen those yet. But I'm telling you, folks, you need your omega-3s and you need vitamin D. Catalyst, of course, provides you with the other nutrients. Your eyes need vitamin A. Your eyes need zinc. A and zinc are crucial to the health of your eyes. Absolutely crucial. And when you're supplementing A and zinc, zinc competes with copper and vice versa. So you need to make sure that you have enough copper every day. And the ratio of zinc to copper is correct in Catalyst. Again, the QR code on the screen will take you to my video on Essentials Eye Support. And by the way, there's two ingredients in Essentials Eye Support that are also good for your brain. So learn more, watch that presentation. All right, let's talk about the brain. Now, as I mentioned, mood is a new driver for brain health. For a long time, brain health was about cognitive function. How sharp can I think? How fast can I respond on that test in college and so on? And then it went to memory as our population began to age. And we know that there is a natural, and I'm not talking about a disease, I'm talking about a natural age-related process that begins around the age of 50, that your memory begins to decline at that point. It's perfectly natural. It's normal. So as our baby boomer population got older, then there were more supplements out there for memory and memory enhancement, and that market continues to grow. But what's new? What's trending? That's the purpose of tonight's presentation. What's trending? What's new and trending is brain supplements for mood. Interesting. Now, some people have become very sad, very, very deeply sad over the last few years. Now, a lot of it's about stress, and I would argue with just about anybody right now that we've gone through some pretty stressful times in the last few years. And it doesn't look like that stress is going to ease up anytime soon. We've also had this extraordinary set of events that led us to having isolation, in some countries, mandatory isolation from other human beings. Listen, I can tell you, not just as an integrative health specialist, but also as a psychological health specialist, I can tell you that human beings require other human beings. We require time to speak with other human beings. We need to release our emotions to other human beings. It's not just therapeutic, it's important for our physical and mental health. And we need to have physical contact with human beings. Studies are clear that the simple act of hugging another human being improves your health, and the lack of physical contact will slowly reduce your health. This is important to know. So isolation has been a very big factor, and there are places on this planet right now where isolation continues. And we don't know what's going to happen in the future. And then, of course, there's social media. Oh, social media. Folks, your brain is a very interesting machine. Now, I think about it as an organic computer. It produces chemicals in response to what we think. Some people say it produces the chemicals and that makes us think. Well, I'm not going to argue that point. So I'm going to say it produces chemicals in response to what we think. So when you are on social media, you've made a post and lots of people like your post. Every time you see a like, your brain makes a positive chemical that makes you feel happy. But every time you see that you don't get the like, or worse, you get bullied, your brain is going to produce negative brain chemicals. The positive ones make you happy. The negative ones make you sad. They can make you deeply, deeply sad to the point where it seriously affects your health. And then, of course, sleep. Sleep is a massive problem right now, perhaps worse than it's ever been in human history. Lack of sleep will also lower your mood, make you less happy during the day. And then the lack of physical activity. Lots of people in isolation aren't physically active. They don't have gyms in their living rooms. They're not going out for a walk. They're not being active. Physical activity helps your mood a great deal. And people who are today suffering from very profound sadness is something that people try and cover up, but it's a lot more common than you know. And remember the brain-gut connection. A happy brain from a happy gut. Now, there are lots of things that contribute to a happy brain, not just one thing. But again, I go back to this chemical so important to the brain called gamma aminobutyric acid, GABA. It's your most important calmative for the brain. It's made in your gut, in a healthy, well-balanced gut. Gut health is key, not just to feeling calm and to feeling happy, but it's also very important to sleep because GABA is your most important chemical to help you relax and get into a healthy cycle of sleep and to help you stay asleep. Only with healthy sleep can your brain reproduce the chemicals it needs to get through the next day and be happy. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you get the right sleep every night, not just the length of sleep, but the quality of sleep. Now, GI Defense, which I originally designed for leaky gut, this product may have another benefit. You see, our leaky gut product is not like all the other ones on the market. Of course, you expect that from Mannatech, right? You expect this to be unique. The other ones are all based on glucosamine, but ours is based on butyrate. Butyrate is that key functional chemical we need to help us with leaky gut, but it's also the chemical necessary to interact with probiotic bacteria so you can make GABA aminobutyric acid. Again, the QR code at the bottom of the screen to take you to that video presentation. And again, we come back to Catalyst, but for a different reason this time. First of all, there are 4 vitamins specifically in Catalyst that I call, and I call it this, the company doesn't call it this, I call it this. I call them happiness vitamins. Why? Well, years ago, when I formulated the first version of Catalyst, I had read a study on people who were profoundly sad. Now, some people in this study were given these 4 vitamins in very high levels. And other people in the study were given a particular pharmaceutical. And it seems that the people who got these vitamins in very high levels did better as a group. And it was safer. These vitamins contribute to happiness. Now, of course, again, We don't call it that. The company doesn't call it that. I call it that. Those are just my words. But I'll tell you what, when I made the first formula and we have carried it through to this newest version of Catalyst, the levels of these 4 vitamins, so we're talking vitamin B1, B6, vitamin B9, and vitamin B12. These 4 vitamins are water soluble, so you're not going to hurt yourself. And from the very first formula, when I put it in extraordinarily high levels, with the purpose of helping you feel better about yourself and about your day, and just to feel a little bit happier. That's what I had in my mind when I made that formula. Well, they're there and they're water soluble, so it can't harm you in those high levels. If you have enough of it during a 4 to 6 hour period, you will simply urinate out the rest. It's that simple. Okay. But on this new version of Catalyst, we have added a very special patented form of ashwagandha, not just any old ashwagandha. This is a patented form of ashwagandha, which has human scientific study to support the fact that we know it helps you to feel calm and relaxed. This form of ashwagandha is what's called an adaptogen. It helps you adapt to stress. And we know it can help you to calm and relax. So this is a great product. Now, to hear more about this, and especially with this conversation, use the QR code at the bottom of your screen, and you can get more detail. Go right there. Now, of course, this product was Mannatech's very first product in 1994. Still remains one of our top-selling products because it is fantastic. It works so well. Now, most people think about this product in terms of hormone support, and certainly it does support your endocrine system. There's no question about that. But I want to talk to you about adrenal support. In fact, the very first product that I tested from Mannatech all those years ago when I was still in practice was Plus. And as we were doing blood tests, I say we, myself and the doctors on my staff, we're doing blood tests and we are seeing a lot of extraordinary things. And one thing that we saw was in the area of adrenal health. The plant sterols in Plus help to support your adrenal glands when they're under stress. Your adrenal glands make extraordinarily powerful chemicals that help your brain, help your mood, help your energy, help your sense of well-being, help you to just plain feel better. So this product definitely deserves a place in this portion of our discussion. And if you want to learn more about Plus, use the QR code and it'll take you right to my video on Plus. Well, the final trend in the group of trends is sleep and calmatives. This is a pretty big area, pretty important stuff. And I think you've already gotten a lot of what I'm going to tell you, but we're going to reinforce a few things for you. 70 million Americans report having trouble sleeping. We are now, in America, we now have about 330 million people. And 70 million of those people are reporting trouble with sleep. 35% globally are telling us that they don't get enough sleep and they don't get quality sleep, and that it is impacting, that they know, they feel that it is impacting both their physical and their mental health. One of the biggest culprits with sleep, of course, is going to be blue screens. I'll come back to that in a moment, but let's give you some sleep facts that you can use when you talk to people tomorrow on World Health Day. All right. Americans get an average of 6.8 hours of sleep a night, but in 1910, the average was 9 hours. Interesting. 35% of Americans don't get the recommended 7 hours of sleep each night. That's important because remember, you produce the brain chemistry that will get you through a healthy, happy day tomorrow by having a good night's sleep tonight. That's why sleep is so important to your health. Well, since 1985, what we've seen that adults getting less than 6 hours sleep has increased by 31%. In other words, this isn't just a little bit of a trend. This is a big trend that keeps getting bigger every year, statistically significant without question. 97% of teenagers don't get the recommended amount of sleep, and they actually need more sleep than adults to be healthy. 40% of adults report falling asleep during the day, not on purpose, they just nod off. 40% of adults. It's because they're not getting enough sleep and they're not getting proper sleep during the night. 37%, and this is shocking, 30% of the driving population says they've nodded off at least for a moment or even fell asleep while driving at least once in their driving lives. Well, the first culprit's going to be blue light devices, folks. The blue light interrupts your circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is a scientific way of talking about the clock inside of all the cells of your body. All of your cells have their own biological clock. And the circadian rhythm helps you to know when it's time to go to sleep, when it's time to wake up naturally, without an alarm clock, without somebody telling you it's time to go to bed. The circadian rhythm is affected by light. When it's dark, your rhythm allows you to produce more melatonin, makes you want to sleep. But when it's light, it tells you to wake up and be alert and be active. Sunlight contains blue light in a particular spectrum, but the blue light is concentrated on blue light devices, like the cell phones that people are taking to bed with them at night, and any of the digital devices you use. Now, again, of course, I want you to use your eye support product. And again, you have the QR code to go here for my video on eye support. And during that video, I talk a lot about circadian rhythm and how blue light affects your sleep. So you want to learn more about that. Something else that's very, very important in terms of relaxing you, calming you, and helping you get to sleep and stay asleep is a mineral called magnesium. Now, too many people, they think calcium and magnesium are one thing. Well, they're not. They're two separate things. Calcium, as an example, causes your muscles to contract. Magnesium causes your muscles to relax. Now, calcium and magnesium have lots of other functions. In fact, magnesium has about 600 functions in the human body. It's enormous, hugely important. And what you don't know about magnesium will probably surprise you a lot. What we did in our most recent version of Catalyst is we raised the magnesium significantly. And we're using magnesium that we know has excellent function. And again, you go back to the video that I produced on mineral chelates to learn more about that. So the product focus video on Catalyst, you go right to it with this QR code. But at the bottom of your screen, there's a QR code to take you to a podcast that I did. The podcast is titled, "Are Calcium Supplements Dangerous?" Now, of course, I use that title to catch people's attention and to get them to listen to the podcast, obviously. But it is a valid question, and it may not be a question that you've heard asked before. Remember, we are not about nutrition information from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. We're about nutrition information today, the latest, the most important science. And you will be surprised. I can almost guarantee you will be surprised when you listen to that podcast that you'll reach by using that QR code at the bottom of your screen. You see, right now, more than 70% of people don't get enough magnesium. But approximately 60% of people get either enough calcium or too much calcium. And too much calcium is potentially a problem. You're probably not aware of that at all. And there are a lot of doctors who aren't aware of it either. And let me emphasize this for all of you. I don't care how smart your doctor is. I don't care how good your doctor is. No human being can read all the studies. No one can keep up with them. They are in the millions. I read new studies 7 days a week. If I could live 14,000 years, I could never read them all. So keep in mind, folks, that your doctor may not be aware of some of this information, but that's why I make these videos and podcasts for you, so you can be current. What is new? What's the latest? And that's what we want to follow at Mannatech. What's the newest? All right, so let's go back to the beginning. The 5 trends, digestive system health, clearly the most important category. By a long shot, it far exceeds the demand in any other category. Immune support, very strong, and will always be a strong category, obviously. And Mannatech has tremendous immune support products that cannot be equaled at any other company. Use those QR codes, watch my videos and learn, and introduce those videos to other people so they can learn. Eye health, brain health, particularly as it relates to mood. Obviously, Mannatech's Ambritose. Ambritose has 7 brain studies, 7. How many people know that? We know that Ambritose supports brain health. There's no question. Supporting cognition, better thought processes, supporting memory. And we want you to think about supporting mood. And of course, sleep and calmatives that we just talked about. These are the important categories. So my friends, when you're looking for an answer for your health question, whatever that question is, Mannatech is the place you want to go. Now you say, well, he's a chief science officer, so he's got a bias. Folks, I'm a scientist. Show me the science. Prove things to me with science. That's all I care about. I'm here at Mannatech because of our science, because of our evidence, because I know we have the best technologies in each of these categories. Now, I want to invite you, and I want you to invite a brand new person to watch a very short video recently produced called Why Wellness? Why Mannatech? And you get there with that QR code at the top of your screen. So whatever your category is, general nutrition, immune health, brain health, digestive health, fat loss, skincare, I don't care what your area of interest is, Mannatech is where you need to go. So this, I hope, helped to prepare you, didn't just celebrate World Health Day. I hope this helped to prepare you to talk to as many people as you can tomorrow. It is the perfect reason to engage with a brand new person. Hello, my name is so-and-so. This is World Health Day. Did you know that? Do you know what World Health Day is about? And now you've started your conversation. Folks, you need to engage. We cannot help someone with their health unless they know our products exist. That's up to you. You have to talk with people. You have to tell people the tremendous technologies that we have. This video will be posted. And I want you to use those QR codes. Please, folks, use the QR codes. Go to all those numerous videos that I've made on the different products and find out more about why our products are the best technologies in every category. I want to thank you all for tuning in this evening, and I want to wish you all a very happy World Health Day on April 7th.